Well, certainly right now, our financial markets worldwide are concerned with other things than art. Those who work in this thing and do well also have an interest in art. So yes, in boom times, more people get interested in art.
With the media reporting on a global credit crunch and rumours abound of a downturn in the contemporary art market, the Armory show was being watched by many for indications of what the future holds for an industry that has grown beyond all expectations in recent years. Some of the major New York dealers, such as Gagosian, Martin Goodman and the Gladstone Gallery, were conspicuous by their absence, though there may have been other factors in their decision not to show.
Would have been a bit better if there was like the Eastern time, and so some of the clients probably are still in Aspen or in the Caribbean, so we're not completely happy with the timing of the fair this year.
85 of the 160 galleries selected for this year's event came from Europe, while the number of galleries arriving from South Africa, India and Korea demonstrated the growing level of global appeal for a fair once regarded by its detractors as a local event.
I think the interest in contemporary art has really been globalized. I think we have a lot of interest from European collectors, and we are a European gallery and we work with a lot of Europeans.
There could be a global meltdown in terms of a European and American art market, and we'll still be able to sell most of this material at the same prices inside of India. We're not going to see the Indian economy may slow down a bit if outside factors force it, but it's not going to slow down overall. It's not going to come. And again, there's so much continuing building market interest inside of India. We could sell all this stuff in India. We have to beat off our Indian collectors to get it out of India,
Of the US dealers themselves, the show saw an increase in the number of LA galleries being represented this year, though the New Yorkers still made up the majority. Competition for places at the Armory show is still high. For every gallery accepted, 3 more are turned away, and there are strict rules about what can and can't be shown at the fair, with only primary works being sold, although a few always slip through the net. Many works by younger artists were chosen for sale this time around, with prices typically ranging from $10,000 to $175,000. This was in stark contrast to Art Basel Miami Beach back in December, where many dealers were selling works running to the several $million mark. With such a growing market, the rise in interest in contemporary art has meant that in a crowded art fair calendar, dealers are also finding it harder and harder to choose which fairs to attend. With the US economy slowing down, many of them arrived at the Armory with a feeling of trepidation.
I think every fair is nerve-wracking and scary. This is the first time we had a large booth. Last year at the Armory we did a medium booth and it worked out well, but this year was great. It was really terrific.
We were kind of waiting to see how things would go. Of course, with the US economy, in a position of, in a kind of tenuous position, we were waiting to see what would happen.
We were certainly nervous going in. Some of the fairs leading up to the Armory show have not been as strong. So we were definitely nervous going in. We weren't quite sure what sales would be like.
Even though the dealers were worried, sales did, however, remain positive, and within 2 hours of opening, the Victoria Miro Gallery from London had sold half its stand, with eager buyers snapping up the Grayson Perry pottery.
We weren't really worried about coming here because we already had a number of collectors living in New York that wanted pieces by these artists.
We were really, really successful this fair. We had great sales. Everything went really well. We were really happy. So we had a great, strong presence for one of our artists, Martin Creed, where we gave him an entire gallery space and he came and installed it. It was kind of like a miniature show that we did here at the fair, and that went very well. We also had great success with a number of other artists that we represent.
Works priced in the lower to mid-price brackets sold well, so perhaps the dealers anticipated a difficult Armory by bringing safe, more conservative works. many of which were sized to fit in any home. That said, some of the dealers interviewed on the floor expressed an alternative view.
We didn't make any decisions regarding bringing more affordable art, but we were even more challenged by bringing art which is not like commercial in the first place, which is like content based and has a strong content wise position, and that worked out quite well, surprisingly, but at the end it was like the right decision for us.
We just tried to bring the best art that we could possibly bring because we really believe that really good art sells. I think that the wider slowdown in the economy affects different levels. I think there are some people that continue to collect. I think maybe people are collecting at a lesser price point perhaps, but we haven't really seen that in this particular fair.
Quality always survives, and this is for sure most important. And you know, when you look around, let's say like Steven Shearer, Sylvie Fleury, Doug Aitken, you always bring strong works and you always have buyers for that. Doesn't matter if there is like a financial crisis or not, and you always have strong collectors.
Few dealers brought large installation works, and those that did, such as Silver Fleury's hot pink crashed car, Skin Crime No. 6, looked out of place in a fair that some commentators felt was a little dull. Another problem for the European dealers was the fluctuating exchange rate. With the dollar changing daily, some decided to price their works in euros. While US economic woes have proved to be far-reaching, works in the higher price brackets, for this fair at least, were proving more difficult to shift.